reggae club scene in New York City. The new beat hopscotch from one Latino urban center to another as quickly as its catchy rhythms. Some Latino kids from LA to Miami were singing and dancing to something called Latin hip-hop or freestyle. Now, this new form of dance music was created and performed exclusively by young, urban, English-speaking Hispanics. The crossover music that resulted had even the suburban mall rats loving the new beat.
The reason that it was called freestyle was because that was the type of dance that the kids in the club used to do when they listened to the music. It was the type of dance called freestyle dance. The music was actually called in the very beginning Latin hip-hop for all the obvious reasons. It was Latin-flavored music with Latin artists with a sort of up-tempo hip-hop beat.
The club kids were taking street beats and drawing on their Latin roots to create a totally new sound. The performers were 100% Latino, but the lyrics were in their native language, English.
A lot of Latin people were definitely responsible for the whole outcoming of freestyle music. A lot of the artists, Lisette, Melendez, the cover girl, Nayobe, Fascination were all Hispanic. And the people that went to the clubs were definitely a predominantly Hispanic crowd. So it was definitely a positive thing, and it was a force of showing of a role model to these kids that were going to the club. So I definitely do feel that the Hispanics had a very big part in doing with the freestyle music. Very positive.
Please Don't Go, and hits by George LaMond, Cynthia, and even the cover girls met with early resistance because they couldn't be easily categorized.
It was a very big underground hit, you know. I did like every single club. I mean, it was ridiculous. And then when we tried to give it to radio, places on the outside would play, but in New York they wouldn't, because they would say it was too Spanish.
But in the club scene, the new music was hot, and stars were born almost overnight.
When I hit 14 and a half, 15, I met my manager, who's still my manager now, Sal Avatiello. He had a roller rink around the corner when I moved to the Bronx. And I used to go there a lot with a friend of mine, and she used to like the way I sing.
One day, I come into the skating ring, and it was empty, and I hear this girl sing. Nobody was in there, so I think my porter let her in, and she's up on the stage singing, but it's not like she had the sound system on, it was so loud. And when I heard her sing, I said, geez, this girl is fantastic.
He says, I can't make you any promises, but I'm gonna try you out. And what he was really doing was, he got me into Disco Fever. It had like 10 consecutive shows, talent shows. You had to compete against anybody else that came that week. And I ended up winning.
The prize for winning the contest was a recording contract. That meant Nayobe, like the other freestyle kids, could sell her records to the growing number of freestyle fans. But even as they became more popular, the DJs still hesitated before playing them.
A lot of people think of Latin music as at the bottom of the barrel, but when there's money to be made, everyone jumps on the bandwagon right away. So we know what we got.
The performers' popularity was overwhelming given their inexperience. Many of these teenagers became icons.
Now I'm looked upon as, I don't know why, I guess because of the age and the years, the king of freestyle. And they can call it whatever they want. I've just been doing it for a long time, so they have nothing else to call me, they call me that.
It took off, and it made such an impact in the freestyle, you know, the whole freestyle dance music thing that I was labeled the queen of freestyle, and to me I was a little overwhelmed by that. I also had, you know, somewhat of an image. I had the Latina homegirl image from, you know, around the way, and a lot of girls and a lot of people were able to relate to that type of image.
When the freestyle movement was at its height, and you include the artists and all their support staff, and the nightclubs who were booking them, and the promoters who were promoting them, there were a lot of Latinos working, as part of this whole freestyle music movement.
Overnight stars usually come crashing down hard. Freestyle, some in the music industry say, is one such falling star.
In the beginning, 89, 90, it was very hot and happening, but then it sort of got saturated, and people just weren't taking it as serious anymore. We sort of got caught up in that moment at the time, and it put a backfire in our career, but then at the same time, it was a learning experience for myself.
It does, because a lot of the certain soulful producers let a couple of talents slip through their fingers that really weren't talent, and it's a shame, because I knew what they were trying to do. They had ambition and they had goals, but I really think that some of the people that were out there doing stuff, they should have taken more time and practice their trade. And they were releasing stuff that really didn't make sense, and it was an embarrassment to the Latin industry.
What killed freestyle was that everybody was just imitating. After a while, everything just sounded so much the same. There was no originality behind anything. The songs just started getting progressively worse. And I feel that a lot of that was just a lot of laziness. People wanted to put out records because it was the flavor of the month.
Is freestyle yesterday's rave? Andy Panda produced Please Don't Go and went on to propel a list of freestylers to stardom.
People kind of got a little comfortable with what they were putting out, and it just became a way to make some money. And I think that, I don't think freestyle is dead, but I think in order for it to come back and surpass the heights that it's already reached, there's got to be some real creativity on the part of the writers, the producers, the artists.
And what do the performers think? Well, they say if it's good, they'll sing it.
Somebody was asking, would you like to do another freestyle record? Which we just finished doing one on Fever compilation album. We just did it, for people out there that still love freestyle. We did it. But if personally speaking, if somebody was really asking if I wanted to do freestyle some more, I would only say yes if somebody came up with some really good music, something different that would catch my ear.